Koala was an apex predator, one of the top hunters in his ecosystem. A formidable beast feared by many, he was a great white shark and the king of his domain. But one day, he mysteriously washed ashore lifeless. Researchers have been studying koala along with many other great whites off the Cape Cod coastline in Massachusetts for the past 4 years. At least 800 individual white sharks visited those waters, and researchers tagged more than 300 of them. Not all of these sharks called Cape Cod home. Some were migratory, some visited for weeks at a time, and others only made fleeting appearances before disappearing for more than a year. But it wasn't always like that. Now home to one of the densest populations of great whites in the world, Cape Cod's shark population was once nearly decimated. Their primary prey species was nearly wiped out. Gray seals were seen as a threat to commercial fishermen, as they competed for the same resources. As a result, bounties were placed on their heads. Between 1888 and 1962, it is estimated that more than 130,000 gray seals were killed, causing a sharp decline in the great white shark population at Cape Cod. Since then, hunting seals has been banned and great white sharks are now a protected species. So what could have happened to koala? On Tuesday, October 15, 2024, koala was found washed up on Nauset Beach in Orleans, Cape Cod. John Chisholm with the New England Aquarium and Greg Scommel with the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries were among the first on the scene. What they saw was puzzling. They had been called to wash up carcasses before, sometimes sharks, sometimes cetaceans, but this one was different. Koala was completely intact with hardly a scratch on him. Measuring an impressive 12.5 feet and weighing 1,240 pounds, he had been known to researchers at the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy since 2022 had only been tagged on one of prior. There are several reasons why one of the ocean's most formidable predators could wash ashore dead. Initially, John and Greg considered finning a cruel practice where sharks have their fins removed for soup before being thrown back into the ocean to drown. Despite increasing restrictions on shark fishing, 80 million sharks are still killed for their fins globally, putting enormous strain on marine ecosystems. But koala's fins were intact. He had not been finned. It was time to look for other signs of foul play. Though there were no major external injuries, there were bloodstains around his mouth. Some suggested this could indicate internal bleeding. But what could have caused that? If koala had been hooked, it would have been a criminal investigation. Great whites are a protected species in the U.S., and deliberately catching them is illegal. Often, when hooked, sharks bleed to death if vital organs or blood vessels are pierced. Others may suffer post-capture mortality, particularly less robust species like blacktip and spinner sharks, due to physical trauma and stress. However, upon inspection, John and Greg found no evidence of koala being hooked. His skin was intact, and while blood was present around his mouth, he did not appear to have bled to death. But their was a bite mark on his side. Could koala have been attacked by another shark? John and Greg didn't think so. The bite was small, likely from a much smaller shark, and had been inflicted after koala had already died. It was superficial at best and wouldn't have caused significant damage if he had been alive at the time. Even so, the team took a swab and sent it for analysis to determine the species responsible. The mystery deepened. It was time for a closer inspection. Local business owner Dennis Reed, who operated a hauling company, was called in to transport the massive shark. 7 people worked together to roll koala onto his front, preparing him for transport. Using Dennis's vehicle, they winched the shark onto a trailer and transported him to the Public Works transfer station in Orleans. There, Greg performed a necropsy to determine the cause of death. Could this have simply been a case of old age? Unlikely. Sharks rarely die of old age in the wild. If their performance declines, they become easy targets for other marine predators. But koala wasn't old. He was in his prime, an apex hunting machine that now lay lifeless on the sand. As scientists worked to determine what happened to koala, something else washed up on the Cape Cod shoreline. Another shark. This time, it was a portable shark found on Chapin Beach in Dennis by photographer and local resident Bob Amaral. Like koala, there were no obvious signs of catastrophic injury, but scavengers, likely coyotes, had fed on the body, making a determination of death even more difficult. This shark was not sent for necropsy, but its appearance added to the growing mystery. Grady continued koala's necropsy, carefully inspecting his external skin. The tag researchers had attached just weeks prior was still intact, with no signs of infection at the site. But that didn't rule out internal infection. Inside, koala's organs appeared normal. There was no sign of internal bleeding. The necropsy was inconclusive. Tissue samples were sent for analysis in hopes of uncovering answers. In Greg's experience, sharks occasionally succumb to chronic infections, but this is rare. Despite living in a hostile environment teeming with microorganisms, sharks have a unique microbiome, particularly on their skin. These microbes help destroy invading fungal pathogens, protect against bacterial infection, and even aid in wound healing. Still, Greg took brain samples to test for asterisk meningitis asterisk, a fatal brain infection previously found in sharks during necropsies. If lab results come back clear, there is one other possibility. Could Cole have asterisk beached himself asterisk and suffocated? Sharks are highly vulnerable in shallow waters. The shifting locations of sandbars and sandbanks make coastal navigation unpredictable. With an outgoing tide, a shark can easily become stranded on the seafloor, unable to free itself. Great whites can only survive minutes out of the water before suffocation takes hold. As they thrash, attempting to return to deeper waters, they expend more oxygen. While some oxygen exchange can occur with wet gills, it is minimal. As the gills dry out, their tiny villi clump together, rendering them ineffective. Even if a stranded shark makes it back into the water, the effects of oxygen deprivation can be fatal. Brain damage from suffocation may shorten its lifespan. But suffocation isn't the only danger sharks face on land. Unlike bony fish, sharks have cartilage-based skeletons, which aid in buoyancy but provide little support on land. Without the natural buoyancy of water, a shark's immense weight crushes its internal organs. Even if it returns to the sea, the damage may already be done. Hopefully, the mystery of Koala's death will be solved soon. And hopefully, this isn't the start of a troubling trend off Cape Cod's coast, because without these remarkable predators, the entire marine ecosystem could be in serious jeopardy. What do you think happened?